Yeah, what's up guys, Neon Blitz here, back with another Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra video. Today I actually wanted to talk about this symbol that, I've seen some people question what it is, so I want to give an explanation. So you can see next to Super Saiyan Goku, I have this golden check mark, and if I go across every character, you can see I have it for every character. So what exactly does this symbol mean? Well, to put it frankly, this golden check mark means you've gotten over 100,000 points with that specific character in ranked. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, when you play ranked, you get a specific, score. You can see here, I have 214,000, 119,000, 107,000, 246,000, 64,000, 93,000. But if we go down to the CPU matches, there's no score. And I believe there's no score at all in casual matches. So what exactly does this golden check mark do? Well, if you get a golden check mark, that means you got 100k points of that character and you get 1,000 Zeni. And that reward of the 1,000 Zeni applies to every character. So, I got 1,000 Zeni for Super Saiyan Goku, 1,000 Zeni from Super Saiyan Vegeta, 1,000 Zeni from Krillin, 1,000 Zeni from Piccolo, 1,000 Zeni from Kid Gohan, 1,000 Zeni from Deborah, and continue. Considering, I have every character, there are more than 30 characters in this game. So if you do this every season, that's over 30,000 Zeni. And yes, this refreshes every season. So when eventually Season 5 starts, you're going to have to get the 100,000 points of every character again. But that's honestly a good thing because that means you're getting pretty much 30,000 Zeni every season. Now, I'm not too sure how it works with trial hero characters. I believe you cannot get the reward from it, even though you might get the 100k. I think you need to own the character to actually get the 100k points to actually get the golden checkmark and the 1,000 Zeni. Now, how do you actually get this golden checkmark? I mean, I've explained you get 100,000. How exactly do you get 100,000? The easiest way is just to have a long game. You can see this game here with Majin Buu, and I got MVP. I got 214,000 points, and this game went on for almost 11 minutes. We have this game here with me at 17, MVP, 11:34 minutes, right? This game again, 9 minutes. This game here, 11 minutes. The longer the game, the better. If you go into this game right here, this is a 10-minute game, but we lost. It is much easier to get the 100k points if you win the game because you have your flat score. So I'll use this game that I lost. So my flat score with Kid Gohan this match was 64,000. And keep in mind, this is a long game. This is almost an 11-minute game. If I won this game, you get the rating at the end of the match, right? Either B, C, A, or S plus, right? You get the points you get, like I said, this game, I got 64,000. But then you also get a win bonus. So if I win the game, depending on the rating I get at the end of it, will boost up my points. Typically, if you get S rank, at the end of a match, it's going to give you 50,000 points or double your points. So you're more than likely going to get it if you get S rank in that game, right? Now, it is easy to get, the 100k points when you win. Now, it is still possible to get over 100,000 points while losing. If you look here with Majin Buu, I have 106,000 points for this game, almost a 12-minute game, and I lost. All right, so it's still possible to get if you lose, but it's much easier because you get the score, multiplier if you end up winning. Now, how, this is all good. You're finding out exactly how this works, but how can you actually secure the points? Well, one thing that we're seeing consistent all this, just have long games that you win. This game's almost 11 minutes, this game's almost 11 and a half minutes, that game's 9 and a half minutes, that game's almost 12 minutes, this game is 9 minutes, right? This game is 12 minutes, this game is 9 minutes, this game is 7 minutes, right? So you typically want the game to go longer. The longer the game goes, the better, because you can get better stats, which is actually the second part of how you get these 100k points. We're going to use the Kid Gohan game that I got 135,000 points on, that I got MVP on as well. If you look at my team data, I went 3-0-12. I got 2 Gods of Destruction kills, 110,000 damage to Gods of Destruction, right? Did 55,000 damage, right? And I have good stats all around, and I'm there helping. If we go to this game that I lost, if we go to Majin Buu, I'm 1-5-13. I have 18,000 damage, so not nearly as much. And if you look frankly at my stats, they're nothing too impressive until we get to my healing, which I did 82,000 healing, and are 138,000 healing to allied heroes, right? So the longer the game goes, the more inflated your stats are gonna get, right? Like, our God Goku got 260,000 damage. Their Bojack had almost 400,000 damage. And, the longer the game goes, the more your stats get inflated. Now, obviously, we saw that I had a game that I got 100,000 points. That was like 6 minutes. I believe it's actually this game that was highly 7 minutes, right? So the better your stats are, and the more you contribute to the game itself, the more score you're gonna get, you know? If you have lots of kills, if you have lots of assists, if you have little deaths, if you have lots of guided destruction damage, if you have, you know, just a bunch of damage to enemy heroes, maybe damage blocked, you know, healing, you know, buffs, debuffs, all this stuff, all these extra stats can get you the 100k points, right? The issue is, you know, that game was 7 minutes, right? And I got it. This game was 6 minutes, and I'm nowhere close. I'm 65,000. So why did I not get it this game? I did 64,000 damage. You know, I had 2-1. I was 2-1 and 2. Did 26,000 damage. Well, because the enemy team surrendered. This is where the real difficulty is of trying to get 100k points of every game. Is you need to somehow get this balance between doing good enough that you obviously get the points, right? But not too good that the enemy team surrenders, because, you know, if the game surrenders, that's it. The game just flats out, ends right there, and who knows what the state of the game or how your stats are looking. So this is really awkward kind of dance that you have to play, where you have to dominate the game, do good in the game, contribute to getting gods of destruction, bosses, fights, you know, farming, no deaths, assists, kills, all of that, right? But you can't absolutely dominate a game too hard because the enemy team has a chance to surrender. That's why I'm saying it's better to have a close game. You know, the long game, the better, because that typically means, you know, they're not surrendering and it's a closer game, you know. I've typically noticed if the fourth boss spawns, right, if it's Jock or Ribrianne, the game at that point should be good, that you could be able to actually get the everything, because, you know, we see here we got Ribrianne, which I believe that was a triple boss KO, right? If we go here, we got Jocko, right? And if we go here, we got Jackie Chun. So that was a triple boss KO. And damage to Dragon Shell helps. You know, here's me getting the Gods of Destruction. You know, it doesn't show my assist, but, you know, I'm getting kills and all that. So if you get to the fourth boss, I think that length of game should be good enough, assuming you're doing good, to be good to go. Of course, you know, I've had bad games. You know, here's this game that I had 93,000 points that I lost in. If you look at my stats are not good. 376, 58,000 damage to Gods of Destruction. Right? I would not say my stats are good here, right? But the game was still going on long enough. I mean, this is almost a 14-minute game. If I had won this game, I'm easily surpassing 100k points. And if the game maybe went on for a little bit longer, if I was doing better in this game, I could have got 100k points from this loss. Because, you know, we've seen here, this Boo game, where I lost, you know, I'm 1-5-13. So that's pretty much all you have to do to get 100k. And remember, you can do this every season. This has been in game since launch. It didn't give 1,000 Zeni at launch. It gave like 100, then it got buffed to like 500 or 600, and then it got buffed up to 1,000. So, you know, make sure you get the Golden Checkmark for every character that you own, so you can get, you know, 1,000 Zeni, which I know Zeni is plentiful now, but it's, you know, free Zeni that you're just leaving on the table, and that's personally how I got to 150,000 Zeni before Season 3. So, and that's how much I have, 440,000 now, because I got the 30,000 Zeni with every character. And yes, it does include the brand new characters. You know, when Kid Buu eventually comes out, you're gonna have to get the Golden Checkmark with Kid Buu as well, and if you do, you get that 1,000 Zeni. So, you know, pretty much Golden Checkmark just means you got 100,000 points of that character. How do you actually get the 100,000 points? You need to play ranked. I believe you cannot get it through quick battle. That was like a glitch during Season 0, but it has been patched out. And, you know, pretty much just make the game go as long as possible. Then make sure, you know, if you win, it's, you know, helps you out a bunch more. And just make sure you're having a good game and actually helping out the team. You know, it's not going to be good if you're just essentially defending Gods of Destruction the whole time and just farming, trying to stall the game out. No, you need to actually contribute to the game. You need to do damage, get kills, get assists, do bad damage to bosses. Just play good Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. And naturally, you should be able to just get the 100k points of every character. Now, of course, are there characters that are easier to get the 100k points than normal? Yes, I would say Majin Buu is pretty easy to get. You know, if you look at battle history, you know, 214,000, 246,000, 106,000, right? Considering he can do a lot of damage and he can heal, so that inflates his stats a lot. You know, 17, I think, is also good considering his shielding and all that. You know, we have 107,000 there, 131,000, right? Kid Gohan could also be easy. For me, the way I would do it is the hardest role for me is damage, not because I'm bad at the characters, I'm bad at some of them, but mostly just because the Q times. just because I'm a bit higher ranked. So what I personally do is, well, at the beginning of the season, I pick what characters I'm the worst at or would be the hardest to get 100k points for. For me, that's Piccolo, that's Deborah, that's Frieza, that's Baby, that's Topo, 18, maybe Cell, right? These characters that maybe are not in a great spot in the meta-wise right now, or I'm just not that proficient at. And I do it, at the beginning of the season when my rank is lower, so I can maybe get the 100k points against the bots or players that I should not be fighting against. And then boom, I get it. And as I slowly rank up, I get more characters I'm more comfortable with. Maybe start switching into, Zamasu, a Daimagoku, a Trunks, a Caulifla, right? Characters that I know how to play. I don't play too often, but I know how to play well. And then as I get higher and higher, I'll do characters that I'm really proficient in, like a Cooler, like a Bardock, like any of the new characters, right? So that's how I would personally tackle it, and that's why the grind for S rank, especially with damage, was not that bad. Because by the time I got done getting the the golden checkmark of every character, I was A1 in damage, A4 in tank, and A4 in technical. And keep in mind, I believe I started B4 or B2, B1. So, if you're grinding this out, keep in mind, Topo was probably easily the worst character for me. It took me like 12 games to get the golden checkmark with him, just because he's not in a great spot right now, and I'm also bad at Topo. But, just pick up the characters that you're worst at, and maybe at the beginning of Season 5, play them at the beginning of the season, so you can maybe get the golden checkmark easily, just get it knocked off your list, and then start slowly playing the characters that you're better at as you rank up. This is free 30,000 Zeni every season, so, and who's to say they might not buff it in the future, so... It's something to work to, especially if you're maybe someone that hit, like, let's just say A rank, and you don't really want to push further. You could just, considering the fact that you won't demelt from A rank, once you hit it, or S rank, you could maybe just grind up at the golden checkmark there, get your free Zeni, and continue on. But, yeah, that's going to be it. Hopefully I explained well how to get the golden checkmark. Just play good Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, make sure you're contributing to fights and the game itself, and if the longer the game goes, the better. And if you win, you should be, even if you win a long game, you should be able to get the 100k points pretty easily. So, thank you guys again for watching. If you guys like the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to me. Stay tapped into the channel if you want to stay updated with everything Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, including featuring this coverage, more videos on God Goku, God Vegeta, and Kid Buu when he comes out, as well as any other potential needs you need to know for the game. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!